The price of Bitcoin is $26,891. As it sits right now, Bitcoin appears to have bottomed at approximately $25,900, reaching into that $25,000 range, which is kind of good news. Had a bit of a price reset. When we're looking at the price of Ethereum has held up particularly well in comparison to how Bitcoin has performed, and that's because of Ethereum's Bitcoin value starting to loop back around and starting to form that inverse head and shoulders pattern. We've talked about it in the past here on the channel, but essentially when you zoom out on the price of Ethereum right now, you'll see basically a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, an Ethereum break to the upside, and an impending altcoin season. Slap a like on today's video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. This is TMG Trades, and let's crack on. So, again, it'd be nice to get 1,000 likes. Not going to happen, but I can at least ask. Now, the price of Bitcoin to start off today's video. How is it looking? Well, important things to consider this weekend is where the CME gap currently sits. And the CME gap is currently sitting at $26,450. That is about $500, $400 below where the price of Bitcoin currently sits. So we don't really expect a major move up throughout the course of the rest of the weekend. If anything, it would make sense for Bitcoin to reset slightly, drop back down to this lower high level here, and basically kind of drop back down to this level, reset a little bit, and close that gap tomorrow. Potentially a very short-term trade has opened up here for a short-term short position. On the whole, though, I don't think there is much more downside in Bitcoin, and let me explain why. Because if you follow what's going on in the markets right now, you'll understand that a lot of this is all happening because the DXY, over the course of the past kind of few days now, or rather last week, it was rallying up rather significantly. And if we look at the value of that rally from bottom to top, the US dollar rose in price last week 1.65% over the course of 4 days of trading. Now, it's not trading at the moment. It doesn't trade during the course of a weekend, and that market number opens back up on a Monday. The question is it going to get rejected? And my expectation is yes. I expect that number is going to get rejected. We've reached a level here of resistance. It would be weird for the value of the US dollar to continue rising at this point without at least some kind of cool-off period. Hence why it would make sense to wait for Bitcoin's price hopefully to drop down tomorrow and then open up a long position. I trade on BYBIT. You can trade where you want, but if you want to trade on BYBIT, you'll find a link in today's video description for BYBIT, and that link will give you up to $30,000 for free. Admittedly, you need to do a lot of things to get the 30 grand, but there's an easy $1,000 that anybody could claim if you just click on the link in today's video description for BYBIT. A lot of UK users have also been asking me about BYBIT. Can I KYC or will I be banned? You won't be banned from trading if you KYC on BYBIT. All you need to do is basically put your details in. That's the new rule. It's an unfortunate one, but it is the case because everybody's going legit now. It's not like the past few years whereby a lot of these exchanges have had like 20 Bitcoin a day withdrawal limits. Basically, fraud and everything has been kind of a big issue for the industry for a long period of time. And that's starting to cool off significantly now with all of these changes. So you can KYC on BYBIT. You won't get banned from trading. Again, check out the link in today's video description. Now, back to the price of Bitcoin. What are you expecting? A little bit of a drop down in price would be fairly realistic tomorrow. However, if we don't get that drop down in price, what are the levels of which we should be watching? Well, we're looking for an hourly close above this level right here. This level right here is currently sitting at approximately $27,000, call it. Let's just round it up. $27,000. We get an hourly close above $27,000. It's going to get pretty interesting as the price of Bitcoin, because if we look at it on the hourly chart right now and zoom out, if we get an hourly close above that level of resistance, we'd essentially complete another inverse head and shoulders pattern. It would make sense to do that, and then we'd break back to the upside. That would be a fairly significant break back to the upside, hence why tomorrow I'll be looking to snag an entry if we do drop to the downside, and that would be a 1.76% move back to the upside. And that'll be basically back to about 27,500. At the level of 27,500, you're breaking back into this level of liquidity. Now, essentially, it's important to point out when looking at the volume profile right now, on the volume profile, we've got a glut of liquidity here, we've got a glut of liquidity here. If Bitcoin starts breaking to the downside, it's likely that we come back down and fill this level of liquidity. It's also important to point out that that level of liquidity is where the CME gap is currently sitting. So it could potentially be that we drop all the way back to the downside and then bounce back to the upside again. That would basically complete a W reversal pattern. If I'm to draw that on the charts, what that would look like, it would look something like that and then bounce back to the upside. So that's where I'd be trying to get my entry tomorrow at about, I'm going to go in about $26,500 is where I'm looking to go long on the price of Bitcoin. When it comes to the price of Ethereum right now, how is that getting along? Well, Ethereum looks very similar to the price of Bitcoin. Of course, when Bitcoin is going down, Ethereum is going down in terms of its dollar value, and Ethereum has kind of lost a fair bit of value over the past few days. If you look at it top to bottom, or rather basically to where we're at right now, over the past 7 days, it lost 11% of its value. If you're looking at it in terms of a stock, that would be horrendous. However, this is not a stock. This is Ethereum, and it trades the way that it wants to trade. Another important thing to point out, by the way, that I didn't raise earlier on in today's video and is worth bringing up, is the fact that Bitcoin halving is only 330 days away and is expected to take place on April the 7th of next year. When Bitcoin halving takes place, we expect Bitcoin's price is going to start rallying very significantly after that date. So you've got basically 330 days to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. And then after the halving takes place, the math kicks in and Bitcoin's price has to rise. It doesn't have a choice. So you've got to bear that in mind. Also important things to point out would be that Bitcoin ordinals and BRC20 tokens are really clogging the Bitcoin network right now. So again, there is a lot more people mining. Mining difficulty is going up. Miners are making a fortune right now. So just bear all these stuff in mind when looking at these things that, yeah, it's looking pretty healthy as a Bitcoin network and it's more secure than it's ever been right now. Now, when pointing out Ethereum's Bitcoin value, we've already pointed out that this is an inverse head and shoulders pattern and that looks pretty decent. The DXY, of course, I'm expecting to drop down during the course of next week. And there's a few things that I want to bring up to you in today's cryptocurrency news. The first thing being, Texas has introduced a bill to ban central bank digital currencies. This could be fantastic news because it would ultimately mean that a lot more institutional money is drawn towards private digital currencies like Tether and USDC, which is ultimately preferential because it takes the power out of the government. That's ultimately the goal of cryptocurrency. Even if it does go to a private company, better in the hands of a private company than it is in the government, because at least a private company is going to act in the best interest of its shareholders, rather than, I suppose when you put it like that, it sounds horrendous. But it is better to have decentralized networks controlling the supply of money, in essence. Better to not have a government that can lock you out of their system. No USDT accounts are getting locked out of the system. Anybody can use it. It's decentralized rather than a central bank digital currency. This is a better way of explaining it. A central bank digital currency, you can get locked out of that system. Your money can get frozen. It's centralized. That's the issue. Decentralized money is better. Other things to point out, backed as delist, Aave, AVAX, Link and Comp Finance, and more after acquiring Apex Crypto. This is pretty interesting. It's basically acquired Apex Crypto platform. Backed has done that delisting basically because now you can access them on a different platform. What is Backed? Backed is the institutional gateway to crypto. I've been looking at SpoolDAO recently, just to point that out. SpoolDAO's been on the rise and it's dropped back down in price. I clicked on the wrong tab, but you may as well know. And then have I got one more thing to point out actually. Go to cryptosavingexpert.com, sign up, make an account. We do give away thousands of dollars every single month to our users. We don't ask any money off those users. It's completely free to use it. So go to cryptosavingexpert.com, sign up, make an account if you've not already. And honestly, it is the best portal that you will ever see for anything in crypto. It's got courses. You can complete all these courses for free. You've got a family member. You want to learn about trading? Check it out. It's like there's so many different things. What's in Crypto 101? Well, it takes you 3 hours and you'll learn more in that 3-hour period than what you would do watching hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos, because it's condensed information and there is exams within it. Anyway, a couple more things to point out would be, I'm looking to take some trades right now. I've pointed out what those trades are. Let's just go through them one more time before we wrap up today's video. First one would be looking to long Bitcoin here, $26,400 on the price of Ethereum. Ethereum is trading very similar to Bitcoin, and I'm expecting Ethereum to outperform Bitcoin over the next couple of weeks. For Ethereum, I'm looking for entries around 1,780. That would be the opportune level, just a drop below this level tomorrow, and hopefully we can snag some entries kind of around the bottom of this wick right here, which would be 1,775 to 1,780. That's where I'm looking for my trades right now. If you are trading, slap a like on this video. Thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And glad to be back to the daily content. If you wonder why no video tomorrow, yesterday. Why was there no video yesterday? Because I was filming with Sergio Perez of the Formula One kind, which was pretty exciting. So some more videos coming to YouTube fairly soon about that stuff. And another race next week, racing at Snetterton. If you want to come and watch me race at Snetterton, you don't need to get your tickets now, but you may as well get your tickets now. Better to get them in advance. So racing at Snetterton next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and testing on the Friday. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with another update. Bye-bye.